Hello everyone, welcome to Home Cooking with me Hema Subramanian. Today we're going to see 4 different quick and easy and tasty breakfast recipes. So let's get started and check them out. I have all the ingredients for the Rava Dosa here. To a bowl, add 1 cup of rice flour. This is easily available for you in grocery stores or in supermarkets. Quarter cup semolina, that is sooji or rava. Quarter cup maida, that is all-purpose flour. Half teaspoon salt. Quarter teaspoon hing. Once you've added all the dry ingredients, just give it a quick mix. Next, add 1 medium-sized onion that's been finely chopped. 1 green chilli finely chopped. A piece of ginger finely chopped. Next, add half teaspoon cumin seeds. Half teaspoon whole peppercorns. And just a few chopped curry leaves. Mix all these ingredients along with the flour. So now I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of fresh curd. Now gradually start pouring the water and mixing the flour till you get a nice batter consistency. This particular batter will need a lot of water because we're going to make the batter nice and runny. It's going to be a nice pouring consistency. You can see how quickly the flour has absorbed all that water. So you have to pour little water at a time. It looks almost like a thick buttermilk consistency. So I have poured almost 1 liter of water to get this particular consistency of the batter. You can check for seasoning at this point, and if you do need to add a bit of salt, you can. So now the Rava Dosa batter is done. Let this sit for about 30 minutes. So the batter has been sitting for about 30 minutes. You can see how runny it is. If you have any excess batter left, you can refrigerate it for up to 2 days. Now we're going to start making the Rava Dosas. For this, make sure the pan is nice and flat. You don't want a curvy pan. To the pan, just add a few drops of oil and wipe off all the oil. Now I recommend you to use a non-stick pan for this dosa recipe because you will get it nice and crispy and it's easier to remove from the pan. Once the tawa is nice and hot, start pouring the batter from the outside. So you can see the batter is very runny and very thin. All you need to do is just pour the batter onto the tawa on all sides. So if there are any gaps in the middle, pour a little bit of the batter and fill it up. After about a minute, pour oil on the sides of the dosa and in the center. So you do need to add a little extra oil for this particular dosa because you want it nice and crispy. And we will not be flipping it to the other side. So the Rava Dosa will take at least 10 minutes to become nice and crispy and to get completely cooked through. Maintain the flame on a medium. So once the dosa becomes lovely brown and crispy like this, you can start releasing it from all sides. So you can see how crispy the dosa is and it's cooked through beautifully. You don't have to flip it to the other side. Just reduce the flame a bit and gently take care to see not to break the dosa. The Rava Dosas are best enjoyed nice and hot right out of the tawa. You can enjoy it with some nice chutneys and sambar by the side. This is a very quick to make instant dosa that you can easily try at home. You can see how beautifully it's roasted. These instant crispy Rava Dosas are even better than the ones you get at restaurants. Trust me guys, do try the recipe and share your feedback and comments in the comment section. So make sure you follow all the steps to get it perfectly. I'll give you a couple of links to the other dosa recipes that I've made earlier. Check them out as well. To the pan, add a teaspoon of oil. First, I'm going to roast half cup of chana dal and quarter cup of urud dal. Roast the dals for about a minute. Next, add about quarter cup of peanuts. So you can use peanuts with or without skin. You don't want to keep the flame on high and roast it too quickly. So you can see the dal and the peanuts have got this lovely golden color to it. Next I'm going to add quarter cup of roasted chana dal. As the chana dal is already roasted, I'm adding it in the end. Roast this for about 2 to 3 minutes. So these ingredients have roasted to a nice golden brown color. This is the color that you're looking for. Turn off the stove and keep these ingredients aside. We have to cool these ingredients. To the same pan, add about half teaspoon of oil. Next, I'm adding the red chillies. I'm adding 2 varieties of red chillies here. 10 Guntur red chillies, because this is going to give you a lot of heat. That is the spice that comes from these chillies. I'm also adding 10 Kashmiri red chillies. So this is going to give you that nice rich red color. If you don't have the Kashmiri red chillies, you can also use the Byagde chillies. Roast the chillies on low flame. The chillies have roasted nicely. You can see the nice color change. Turn off the stove and keep them aside. To the same pan, add a teaspoon of oil. Now I'm using gingerly oil. Add 1 cup of freshly grated coconut. There are a couple of options. Instead of fresh coconut, you can use dry desiccated coconut or the copra. Add a few cloves of garlic. Add a few bits of tamarind. So this is going to give you a light tanginess. And garlic will add a very nice subtle flavor to the podi, that is the idli podi or the gunpowder. Those of you who don't want to use garlic, or if you don't like the taste of garlic, you can simply avoid garlic and just follow all the other instructions and the ingredients as per the recipe. Remove the coconut from the pan and let it cool completely. To the mixer jar, add the red chillies first and grind them. Add half of the roasted dals and peanuts. Now add the remaining. Now add the roasted coconut, garlic and the tamarind. To this, I'm going to add about 1.5 teaspoons of rock salt. If you don't have rock salt, you can just use regular table salt, and half teaspoon of hing, that is Asafoetida powder. Finally, I'm just going to add 1 teaspoon of sugar just to balance the flavors a bit. You can see the idli podi, that is the gunpowder, looks absolutely fantastic. Remove from the mixer jar and keep it aside. Now we'll start steaming the idlis. To the idli plate, I'm just putting a little bit of the idli batter. Place it into the steamer and cook the idlis. So after 10 minutes, you can see the idlis look perfect. Remove the idlis from the idli plate. To the idli, pour generous amount of oil or ghee. And add generous amount of the gunpowder or the idli podi and just rub it all over the idli. You can rub it on the top and the bottom. So you can serve the idlis in this manner. So this is one way of serving them. So you can see it's coated beautifully. The other way is to serve the fresh hot steaming idlis with the gunpowder, that is the idli podi, by the side. Add generous amount of the idli podi to the plate. Pour enough oil so it soaks it all up. Now dip the steaming idlis into the idli podi and enjoy. So I have shown you 2 ways you can enjoy these nice hot steaming idlis with this delicious gunpowder. Now I've really enjoyed making it and we enjoy it at home. So I think you guys must try it and post your comments in the comment section. To the pan, add half cup of sooji. Roast it till you get a nice golden color. So in this particular Rava Kichadi, the key is in the roasting of the rava. So sometimes the rava is not roasted and this can become very sticky or gooey. So you can see the rava is roasted to a nice golden color. Turn off the stove, remove from the pan and keep it aside. To the nice white kadai, add about 2 tablespoons of oil. Add 1 teaspoon of chana dal. Next 1 teaspoon urud dal, half teaspoon mustard seeds, half teaspoon cumin seeds. I'm also adding a few cashew nuts. So the cashew nuts are optional. If you don't want to add them, you can do it without them. So So I'm just making it a little rich by adding all these cashew nuts. Since we're doing this restaurant style, it will be nice to add a few cashew nuts. Once the mustard seed starts splattering, I'm just going to add a few curry leaves. Next, add 1 medium-sized onion finely chopped, a piece of ginger finely chopped, 1 green chilli finely chopped. Now I like ginger in my khichdi or upma. So if you don't want the flavor of ginger, you can do it without it. So once the onions have turned transparent, add all the vegetables. So I'm just adding about 2 tablespoons of finely chopped beans, about 2 tablespoons of finely chopped carrot, a few green peas. So these are cooked green peas, and 1 small tomato. So if you add the chopped vegetables nice and fine, they cook faster. You don't want it too big. Add a pinch of turmeric powder. Next, add 1 teaspoon of salt. Just mix everything. Now you can adjust the salt according to your taste. So you can see the vegetables have cooked. Now I'm going to add the roasted sooji. So like I said, the key is in the roasting of the sooji. So make sure you've roasted it nicely. Now this is, you can see this is a very simple recipe, and it's something that's very quick to make. So if you're having sudden guests or friends coming over, I think this is one recipe that's a go-to recipe to quickly make. So let me know what is your go-to recipe when you have sudden guests, relatives or friends coming over and you want to quickly whip up something for them. So the next step is, for half cup of sooji, I'm adding 1 cup of water. So reduce the flame to a nice low. Now this is hot water, so make sure you're adding some hot water, not cold water or room temperature. So keeping the flame on a low, continue to cook. Close the kadai and cook on low flame for about 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, you can see the sooji is cooked beautifully. The khichdi is done. I'm just going to add some chopped coriander leaves. So finally, I'm finishing off by adding about 3 teaspoons of ghee. This will add a very nice flavor to your khichdi. So you can see the Rava Kichadi is cooked perfectly. So the key is in adding the water as well. So if you add too much of water, it can become very gooey and very lumpy. So if you want it a bit dry like this is the proportion that you must follow. And make sure you also roast the sooji well before making the khichdi. So here are a couple of tips to follow to get this perfect restaurant style Rava Kichadi. Those of you who like Rava Kichadi or who enjoy making it on a regular basis, make sure you like the recipe and share this recipe with all your family and friends. For the oats dosa, I've taken about 1 cup of rolled oats. So for this, I'm going to add just enough water so that it's completely immersed. This is going to absorb all the water and it's going to soften up. So let this soak for about 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, you can see the oats are nice and soft. Transfer the soaked oats to a mixer jar. To the mixer jar, add 1 medium-sized onion roughly chopped, 3 green chillies roughly chopped. Next, add a small piece of ginger finely chopped. Add about half teaspoon of rock salt, half teaspoon cumin seeds, and just a little Asafoetida powder, that is hing. Also add a pinch of turmeric powder and grind everything together to get a nice fine batter. So I have not added any water while grinding, but if you do need water, you can just add a little bit to get the right consistency. Transfer the ground mixture to the bowl. So if you feel the batter is too thick, you can just dilute it by adding a little water. So now the oats batter is ready. You can see it's not too thick or too runny. It's a nice perfect consistency. Now we can start making the dosas. Heat a tawa or a dosa pan. Take a ladle of the batter, pour it onto the hot tawa. Just add a little ghee on all sides. Once it's cooked on one side, flip it to the other side. I'm making these oats dosas like pancakes because they're nice and small and it's easy and quick to consume. If your kids are very fussy about eating oats, this is one way you can give it to them. You can make the dosas whichever size you like. Make sure you serve them nice and hot with some nice chutney by the side. Now, I am serving these oats dosas or pancakes with some nice tangy and spicy tomato chutney. You can serve with any side dish of your choice. Here's another great healthy breakfast option for you guys.